So they've signed on to a peace agreement, and this should resolve everything. But sadly, that's not the case. We haven't really seen the type of, either side really playing ball. What we've seen is Hamas releasing, everyone that they had in their, custody, hostages, prisoners, whatever you want to call them, as well as the bodies of the deceased. The Israelis claim that there are more bodies that that Hamas has not released. The problem is that Hamas is saying to find those bodies, we need a lot more resources. We need to dig through the rubble that has been created by the Israeli genocide, really, over there. On the Israeli side, they've released prisoners, but they haven't allowed much of the aid to come in, right? Basic aid that needs to be that the people are demanding, and they're using that as a bargaining chip. And it's not something to be surprised by. This is what they've done again. What we're hearing now, and even Trump has said something similar, is that now with all the hostages gone, he's saying that if Hamas does not abide by the ceasefire agreement, he could allow for Israel, or he could give the green light to Netanyahu to continue his attacks. This seems like the most tenuous sort of ceasefire that could exist, because if it depends on one man's mood and one man deciding on when fighting will begin again, it's really not a ceasefire. This is really just Trump having all the buttons to himself. This megalomaniac, really, who's trying to really shape the Middle East in his own perverted way, sadly. We saw, Trump say some really, really, frustrating and horrifying things when he was at the Knesset and he was speaking in front of Netanyahu and their parliament, and he said, I like this guy. I like him because he knows how to win. Right? Is this what you call winning? He said that Netanyahu asked me for weapons I didn't even know existed or didn't even know the names of. And I, gave him whatever he wanted. It's just when history is written, and it's being written as we speak, the enablers of genocide, today they're getting away with it, but there's going to come a point where, you can't just live with things like that. And I don't think history is going to be very kind to Trump in any case, but this is something that really hurts. That behind the scenes, once you get that glimpse of what's really taking place, you feel at times we've thought that Trump has imposed pressure on Netanyahu and tried to get a ceasefire going. That's never been the case, really. Like once you see what was happening behind the scenes, Trump was greenlighting every weapon requisition that they wanted. He signed on to a bomb with the biggest non-nuclear bombs that they have, even Iran, for Netanyahu. And then to go out, a person who has been the biggest roadblock, the individual Netanyahu has been the biggest roadblock to a ceasefire and to peace and to bring back the hostages because of his own personal demons and because of his own personal skeletons in his closet and his corruption cases. And now they're pulling Pakistani tricks. Apparently he wasn't fit because he has some bad form of bronchitis. He wasn't fit to stand trial. Or continue with the testimony or the hearing that's taking place there. Anyhow, we had Trump, the Knesset thing, and then all the Muslim leaders, including our very own Shehbaz Sharif, showing up in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt and basically listening to Trump take a victory lap and saying that, we've resolved this issue, getting, extempore praise from Shehbaz Sharif. And I don't know if you've seen that video, and we'll see if we can put it up, but Shehbaz Sharif, when Trump turns around and he's talking about India, Pakistan, he turns around and looks at Shehbaz Sharif, and that smile that he gives, that one eye, that is, I think, the best expression I've ever seen of any world leader, really. But, this approach being endorsed by the Muslim world and by the Muslim leadership, and not that we've ever had much hope in these leaders themselves, but this approach really is something that shows where we've gotten to. It just shows the weakness, the helplessness, that there's clearly a man who is unfit for office, unfit to be taking these decisions, comes in with a plan which is a tenuous plan, and I don't know if anybody can even trust him. He's already threatened allowing the genocide to continue again. And this time, once he's given the permission. It's not going to be something where there's any sort of bars held or any sort of limitations on the Israelis. What we're seeing is really a man who should not be doing this, and the whole world coming together and clapping at the mad king. Right, that is what my deepest concern is over here, that the ceasefire isn't going to last, and then once it's broken, it's going to be very, very hard to mend, because this was it, right? This was the good offices of the U.S. president, the entire Muslim world coming together, trying to find a solution to this problem, and then the Israelis being the Israelis, they're going to restart the bombing, or Hamas is going to not agree to any form of disarming themselves, or there's going to be some excuse that the Israelis are going to come up with to start the bombing. So it becomes problematic in that sense. And again, we don't know where this is going to go. I have a strong feeling that this ceasefire isn't going to hold, unfortunately.
The revolution will be live.